Good afternoon, and thank you for joining me for my presentation on restoring dry river reaches in the Southeast. My name is Catherine Schmidt. I'm a recent graduate from the VCU Center for Environmental Studies Master's Program, and during my time in the program, I had an internship with American Whitewater and worked with the National Stewardship Director Kevin Colburn on the Hiwassee River Gorge. The Hiwassee River is highly regulated with 4 dams in the upper watershed alone, and the impacts of these regulations are that there's a significantly altered environmental flow regime and environmental degradation that comes with that. The Hiwassee River is a fairly large basin with 2,700 square miles, and it flows from northern Georgia up through North Carolina into Tennessee, where it ultimately joins the Tennessee River. In this next map, you can see our 4 dams in the upper watershed alone, and we'll be focusing on the Appalachian Dam. Here we can see the Appalachian Dam with the diversion tunnel off to the right side of the screen, and this diversion tunnel carries water from the reservoir down 8 miles as the crow flies to the Appalachia powerhouse. This results in 13 miles of riverbed getting bypassed and essentially dewatered. The governing document that oversees all Tennessee Valley Authority projects is the Reservoir Operations Study. And an update to the Reservoir Operations Study in May of 2004 dictated that the Hiwassee River Gorge is to receive 25 CFS from June through October. This is new, and it is influential in that prior to this, there were no requirements for water to be released into the gorge. So we are grateful that there is a base release, but this is simply not enough water to be supporting the species that rely on this area. So Kevin and I worked together to develop a project proposal for the Hiwassee River Gorge to increase flows. We specifically wanted to focus on environmental and recreational benefits, but we had to balance the multi-user demands. Hydropower being the largest user, we had to also balance the needs from the trout industry and the nuclear plant cooling water, both of which need the water to not exceed 70 degrees. And as you can see, there are recreational opportunities when the water is actually flowing. This photo on the right side is whitewater kayaking at around 1,800 CFS. So, establishing historic flows. We did not have access to historic data, so we had to use a model, and we decided to go with the USGS StreamStats platform. The average summer flow is about 1,120 CFS based on the model, and the average flow throughout the year at the Appalachian Dam and below is 1,900 CFS. This is a huge contrast to the 25 cubic feet per second that is regulated from June through October. The impacts of dewatering are significant, and we can see it visually through all of the trees that are growing up in the riverbed. This image on the right especially is from Google Earth, and you can see from the aerial photo that the riverbed is essentially green where it should have water flowing into it, and that is because of the lack of water flowing in the riverbed, allowing for trees to grow up and mature over the past 80 years. Other environmental impacts are on endangered species, one of which is the Ruth's golden aster, and is only found in the Hiwassee River Basin and the Ocoee River Basin. Water temperature impacts were taken into consideration as the trout fishing industry is sensitive to temperatures of 70 degrees and higher, and the downstream nuclear plants on the Tennessee River also needed to make sure that the water is cold. As you can see, based on our data that we found, the temperature is variable by season, and it has no correlation with the flow of the river. So by increasing flows a little bit, we will not be increasing the temperature. The Hiwassee River Gorge does have some whitewater in it. The 5.5-mile run from Turtletown Creek to the Appalachia powerhouse, so about halfway through the gorge, has class 3-4 whitewater when it is flowing. It needs to have at least 1,000 CFS in order for the river to be navigable, but if we were able to get water in there, it has a large economic potential to draw in paddlers from around the region and potentially support a rafting industry. So our project is complete in that we have finished our proposal and we are submitting it to the Tennessee Valley Authority currently. We are waiting to hear back from them and schedule further meetings to come up with an actual guideline and release dates. But this was a great exercise in collaboration, balancing multi-user needs. It was also a good exercise for AW in looking at different regulation practices. Normally they work with the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, and this time we were looking at regulations based on the Tennessee Valley Authority. We're also hoping that this can be a model project for future flow restoration projects in dewatered segments. Thank you for your time, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.